With a gentle companion, find the wisdom to love yourself better. Today, we're going through Haruki Murakami's The Lion Who Loves Salad. We will delve into Murakami's fascinating world, where his humor, warmth, and profound life philosophy shine through. In this episode, we'll explore the inspirations behind his serialized creations and his reflections on life and death. We hope this journey brings you warmth and healing. Before starting a serialization, Haruki Murakami prepares about 50 topics to choose from. In daily life, new topics naturally arise and are added to the list. However, just as he's about to fall asleep, he often thinks, I should write about this too. He considers jotting it down, but often drifts off without a pen and paper nearby. By the next morning, he has forgotten what he intended to write. Some ideas resurface months later, while others remain buried in the depths of his mind. He wonders why these thoughts come to him right before sleep. Berlioz once composed a symphony in a dream and remembered every detail upon waking. Murakami marvels at this, thinking, how incredible to compose music in a dream. He should have written it down immediately. However, due to financial difficulties, Berlioz abandoned his dream composition to write reviews for magazines. Thus, the music became a regretful story. Murakami shares a story about a serial marriage fraudster who enchanted many women. This shabby man had a long, thin nose and pale blue eyes and was quite scrawny. Gazing wistfully at his shoes, he said, "Women may love handsome men, but when it comes to marriage, looks don't matter. For a writer, you don't understand women at all." Murakami reflects that women don't get angry because something is wrong. They sometimes just feel like getting angry. Even if they seem calm most days, they might erupt over trivial matters if they're in an irritable mood. By observing bull terriers, Murakami learned practical wisdom to maintain a relatively peaceful coexistence. When his partner is furious, he remains a quiet punching bag, waiting for the storm to pass. Once it's over, he carefully peeks out, assesses the situation, and returns to his routine. Murakami recounts the story of Arland Williams, who let others go first during a rescue operation. Williams' heroic actions touched the world, and a nearby bridge was named Arland D. Williams, Jr. Memorial Bridge. Murakami believes that kindness is a crucial element in writing, making it readable and understandable. This requires time, effort, and a bit of talent. He quotes Kurt Vonnegut's line, "Love may fail, but courtesy will prevail." Murakami emphasizes that kindness is more important than heroism, as it brings warmth and care into daily life. Ernest Hemingway believed that to be a real man, one must do 4 things: plant a tree, fight a bull, write a book, and have a son. Murakami notes that he has only written books and hasn't accomplished the other 3. Observing bulls, he sees their massive bodies, sharp horns, fierce eyes, and aggressive temper. Bulls with horns are safer. Without them, they'd crush you with their hard foreheads. In Utah, he observed cattle grazing peacefully in the spring sun. A boy shouted from a car window, "Hey, we're going to eat you next!" Murakami marvels at the world's diversity. While living in Sicily, Murakami met a soprano and her Siamese cat. The soprano practiced loudly every morning, and the cat, disliking the noise, would escape the room. Murakami muses that animals might not perceive music, just as they don't perceive time. He also mentions his discomfort with modern music environments, particularly in Shibuya. The Time Out Film Guide is a British magazine that reviews about 13,000 films annually. The Traveling Executioner is about an executioner traveling with a portable electric chair in the American South, while Lovers on the Snow is about a death row inmate who transforms into a decent person accepted by islanders. Murakami is curious about these movies' endings, but couldn't finish them due to work. Inspired by Nobuo Murakami, he decided to learn to make Western-style omelets. After a month of practice, he mastered the technique, requiring a special frying pan and careful maintenance. He envisions a romantic scene where a boy makes a spinach omelet for a girl the morning after a tender night. Murakami notes that American citizens frequently serve as jurors, often finding the experience exhausting. He believes the current judicial system is far from perfect, but involving ordinary citizens as jurors can positively impact society by showing them the courtroom process. He questions the ethics and necessity of the death sentence, noting the complexity of jury decision-making. In the movie LA Story, a waitress says soup or salad, which sounds like soup or salad. Murakami eats a lot of salad daily, filling a bowl the size of a wash basin with vegetables. He recalls a fantastic salad he had at the Halekulani Hotel in Honolulu, made with Manoa lettuce, Kula tomatoes, and Maui onions. Simple, yet exquisite. Murakami suggests generating electricity with exercise bikes to power streetlights. He envisions an energy donation handbook, encouraging people to contribute power. Energetic high school boys could go to energy donation centers and convert their energy into electricity. He believes collective creativity and effort can solve energy problems. Paul Theroux's The Great Railway Bazaar is a fascinating book, and Murakami finds boring conversations akin to torture. He notes that English is no longer just for English-speaking countries. It's a global lingua franca. Regardless of fluency, if the content is dull, no one will want to talk. Some Japanese companies plan to make English their corporate language, but fostering individuals with unique perspectives might be more important. Murakami finds tipping in foreign countries challenging. In Japan, tipping isn't customary, and amounts and practices vary by country and situation. He compares the complexity of tipping to the subprime mortgage crisis and particle theory. His strategy is to estimate the tip confidently without overthinking. This should be enough. Murakami believes novelists can honestly say, I don't know. For things he doesn't know, he candidly admits, I don't know. He values the desire and passion for knowledge, believing it drives continuous progress. Seeing proofread pages reminds him of his vast ignorance and misinformation, which he has carried throughout life. Murakami recalls his first visit to Schönbrunn Zoo, originally a playground for Habsburg royalty, now a beautiful modern zoo. He stared at a lioness through a transparent wall, trying to smile, but she remained expressionless. Murakami explains why Chicago was a wedding theme song. The bride's name was Chicago, and many Americans pronounce Chicago as Chicago. He associates San Francisco with Ralph Sharon's piano intro to Tony Bennett's I Left My Heart in San Francisco. Music and scenes connect deeply, like how Sakamoto Kyu's Ue Omuite Aruko evokes the vast northern sky. Murakami shares his struggle with choosing travel bags, finding that selecting based on the trip's nature often fails. He cherishes bags bought spontaneously, like a surfer's nylon bag in Hanalei or a stylish leather bag in Rome. Frequent travel brings philosophical insights. Convenience always has drawbacks, so simplicity is best. Murakami recounts running out of gas on the highway, having to climb a fence to find a gas station. Alone in unfamiliar territory, the experience was nerve-wracking. He reflects, thank goodness I was alone, realizing the challenge of being a man in such situations. Murakami has limited interaction with other writers, preferring friendships with photographers, painters, and musicians. He finds the notion of difficult novelists ingrained and worries about being disappointed by admired writers. Though he loves writing and sees it as his calling, he feels uneasy about the title and societal role of a novelist. Murakami isn't fussy about clothing, buying all his clothes himself. He mentions gifts from Mizumaru Anzai, always tasteful and matching his tastes. He believes the key to gift giving is considering the recipient's perspective, not personal preferences. A jazz enthusiast since 15, Murakami feels jazz has softened, nearing traditional art. He enjoys jazz bars and live performances, mentioning New York's Village Vanguard as the epitome of authentic jazz, with unique layout and excellent acoustics. Murakami wasn't interested in fortune-telling, but enjoyed doing it for others. After studying and creating his method, he became known for accurate readings. He sees fortune-telling as observing people, using cards as a prop. Writing novels like fortune-telling requires keen observation, but offers more security. Murakami prefers bottled beer, finding it tastier than canned. He enjoys Rolling Rock, ale, and Sam Adams. He mentions Seiji Ozawa drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon while assisting Leonard Bernstein in New York. The Gran Torino protagonist also loves canned Pabst Blue Ribbon. Murakami sees cicadas as an essential part of Japanese summers, holding significant cultural value. Unlike Japan, North America, and Northern Europe lack cicadas, limiting Westerners' understanding. He notes that Aesop's fable of the ant and the grasshopper originally featured a cicada. Life, like that of ants or cicadas, offers no choice or need to ponder its purpose. Murakami suggests adding a soft horn by the steering wheel to gently alert pedestrians. He also mentions recording Shinjuku station announcements to play through a tape recorder by the phone to handle telemarketers. Small conveniences, he notes, can have significant meaning. Murakami recalls attending Seiji Ozawa's string quartet seminar by Lake Geneva. Maintaining a quartet requires finding 4 equally skilled musicians. He also shares his love for mahjong since high school, eventually quitting due to disliking playing with incompatible people. Murakami shares his triathlon experiences, enjoying the warm sea and swimming without a wetsuit. He mentions marathon experiences, feeling excited the day before, regardless of age. Murakami believes in minimizing luggage for travel, noting that unexpected events make travel interesting. He enjoys the feeling of lightness from discarding old clothes daily. Murakami prefers writing in a conversational, straightforward style. He mentions Kiyohira's poem, Autumn, reminding him of youthful friends and good times. The poem evokes the sound of new clogs, bringing back memories of beautiful natural beaches in Ashiya. Murakami follows a principle of not giving too much advice. He believes advice often backfires, so he listens without concluding. He thinks people need warm agreement more than practical advice. A typical humanities student, Murakami understands scientists better after reading Experiments with Myself. He admires scientists' willingness to experiment on themselves, sometimes fatally. He sees his running as an experiment, noting physical and mental benefits over years of consistent running. Murakami finds German female editors more decisive and easier to work with than male editors who can be quirky. He mentions one male editor ordering a fruit parfait in a cafe or holding his wife's hand while waiting in the living room. Female editors, he notes, have always been normal. Murakami references Dorothy Parker's epitaph, "Excuse my dust." He believes epitaphs reflect personal traits but can be omitted. His ideal epitaph is from Truman Capote's "Shut a Final Door." Go run along and think about something else. Murakami handles large crowds well but struggles with smaller groups. Though he dislikes public appearances, he manages but feels exhausted afterward. He prefers a normal life, avoiding the spotlight. Murakami naps for 30 minutes daily, feeling refreshed and positive afterward. Napping makes him resilient and cheerful. Without naps, he believes his life and work would be duller and less approachable. He listens to chamber or Baroque music, finding napping the best solution to stress. Murakami mentions Edvard Munch's The Scream, where the figure covers their ears against endless screams. He feels the painting resonates with modern society, transcending time. He also notes Munch's melancholy, with Norwegians saying the protagonist resembles him. Murakami considers himself an optimist, rarely losing sleep over worries. He believes optimism is crucial for writers and creatives, often shaped by childhood environments. Loved children grow optimistic, while unloved ones tend toward pessimism. Murakami finds the idea, "What's wrong with being second?" intriguing. Few aim for second place from the start and succeed. He believes striving to surpass others fosters new ideas and strategies. He prefers being second in marathons, just behind the leading group. Murakami references T.S. Eliot's belief that cats need 3 names: a simple everyday name, a dignified name for guests, and a secret name known only to the cat. He doesn't spend much time naming cats. Names just come to him. He shares the story of his cat, Peter, found on his way home from work. Murakami is naturally quiet, but can be talkative depending on the situation. He enjoys reading, listening to music, taking walks, and playing with his cat. He declines interviews and correspondence, believing silence is sometimes wise, maintaining calm despite misunderstandings. Murakami discusses a Kyoto street banner. If the root of desire is not cut, life's troubles will never end. He believes in keeping some desires, adding interest to life. He recalls a magazine feature on Ijing, with someone appreciating freedom from strong, youthful desires. Murakami has a fear of heights, recounting a terrifying climb to a pyramid's top. Looking down felt like a cliff. He notes cats also fear heights, getting stuck in high trays. Everyone has weaknesses, and it's important to face and overcome them. Murakami shares experiences of being mistaken for unable to pay in sushi restaurants and other shops. In a hot spring inn, he was initially given a shabby room due to his modest appearance, but moved to a luxurious room after being recognized. He believes appearance shouldn't determine treatment, but pretending to be a pauper makes one a pauper. Murakami mentions the marathon's origin and the Greek messenger's ordeal, finding the distance absurd and roads terrible. Roman philosopher Seneca loved running, believing it eliminated fat and boosted energy. When confused, running clears the mind and restores clarity. Murakami brushes his teeth at red lights, praised by his dentist for regular checkups. He regrets neglecting dental care in student days, causing frequent dental visits later. Strictly enforcing post-meal brushing is essential, and if life restarted, he'd prioritize it. Murakami enjoys collecting and sharing gruesome death stories at meals. He recounts the wind-up bird chronicle story of a Japanese officer skinned alive, feeling discomfort and nearly suffocating. He describes Siberian forest insects, Soviet labor camp punishments, and Genghis Khan's cruelty. Murakami recalls an incident at a Washington hotel where a white man cut in line. Despite protests from Murakami and another man, they were ignored. He reflects on encountering both arrogant lobbyists and justice-believing teachers in America, finding it both frustrating and admirable. Murakami mentions poet Arthur Rimbaud's belief that he saw things in imagination others couldn't. Murakami feels he sometimes sees imagined things vividly in his writing, describing unfamiliar places and people in detail. Murakami saw a Japanese sign in Copenhagen, "Wet floor, slippery." He finds it a straightforward warning and appropriate Japanese expression. Language constantly evolves, and familiarity makes it more fitting. The real value of language lies in its relationship with users, not the language itself. Murakami quotes Woody Allen, "Life is either terrible or miserable." He believes dealing with misery is easier than tragedy, and facing the worst might reveal something worse. Being called hypocritical isn't pleasant, but denying it is even more hypocritical. Murakami recounts meeting a tomato farmer during a hike, receiving delicious tomatoes. The tomatoes' natural fragrance, juiciness, crisp texture, and beautiful color made them the best he's ever had. He believes tomatoes bring joy and connect to life's beauty. Murakami explains why coconut trees grow tall, to spread seeds farther. In Honolulu, non-fruiting coconut trees are planted to avoid hitting pedestrians. He shares a story of a pregnant woman wanting to name her child Coconut, finding it amusing. That's all for today. I hope this book brings you warmth and healing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.